Chickens and explosives. You never heard of a combo of objects that correlated so closely with real estate. Well, today we're going to use them to explore the difference between a buyer's market and a seller's market. And if you're in the home market right now, you're going to want to know which one you're in, because it's going to influence your price, what your price should be, negotiations, contingencies, and so much more. So let's jump into it. Exploring buyers versus sellers markets. Wait for it. The difference between a buyer and a seller's market, as you may have already guessed, is the difference between supply and demand in the housing market. So let's say this is my offering for a house. And as you can see, everyone is clamoring to get what I have. So my offer is going to be way more easily accepted, which means I can make my offer a little bit sweeter for me, and that I can negotiate better, I can give myself either a lower price, or I can win on contingencies. You have to realize what kind of market you're in so that you can strategize your negotiation. Because if you're in a seller's market, which is where there's tons of buyers looking to buy but not as many homes, the inventory is lower, that means you're going to have a harder time getting a house, and you're probably not going to win on price. What you're going to win on is being the buyer that the seller chooses to sell to. Because most likely, if it's a good listing that's worth anything, there's going to be multiple buyers putting in offers, and it's going to be very competitive for you. Whereas as we saw back there in a buyer's market, really not competitive at all. All the sellers are clamoring for your offering, and the first one that you give it to will accept it. So you have a wide variety of choices for your home. As we continue our walk through time, the market changes, and now we find ourselves in a seller's market. So let's say we have this house here that we're interested in. It's in Florida, so it's on pylon so that it does not get flooded. Maybe it's down by the beach. We like the house and we want to put in an offer for it, but we have to keep in mind that it is a seller's market. And so what that's going to mean is that probably there's going to be multiple different buyers putting in their offers, and so we have to be competitive. Otherwise, we're not going to get the house. Again, you don't win on price in a seller's market as a buyer normally. You win on just attaining the house that you want. And so sometimes you have to sacrifice on price for that. But let's say that you want to put in a lowball offer, see if you can get it cheap. And so you come here and you leave that here. And sometimes there's paperwork and administrative processes that take a while, but eventually it lights. And then you can quickly run away because you're probably never going to see the house again. You have no idea what's going to happen, but it's gone. But it's a buyer's market in Pensacola, Florida right now, folks. And so if you're looking to buy, you have some real power to flex over on that side. But what does that look like practically? Because I know we've talked about, okay, my offering might be more acceptable, sweeten the pot and all this. But let's go scenario-based because it helps us visualize it a little bit better. So let's say that you're moving out of your rental, first-time home buyers, you're looking at a $300,000 house that you like. Well, in a buyer's market, you could put an offer in for, $275,000, and that might be way more acceptable to the seller than it would be if it were a seller's market. They'd laugh at you then. But let's say that they don't give you the $275,000 because they can't quite reconcile that. There's other avenues that you can go. So maybe they give you $290,000. Maybe they're willing to go with that. So you're like, okay, but along with that, I want you to pay for my closing costs, which is a significant cost in and of itself, and then also maybe appliances, and they can give you some other things. So like, again, appliances and furniture would be, maybe you don't have a refrigerator or a washer and a dryer because, you just use the one in the rental home that you had. Well, now instead of going to the store and paying for that, you can add that into the cost of the house, and the seller may well be willing to sell you theirs along with the home. There's also furniture, if you want a big sofa or something, and then repairs. That's a huge one because especially with resale homes, they're old, maybe sometimes they're going to need some repairs, and those are going to be costly, but the seller will pay for them in a buyer's market a lot of the time, which will again save you significant cost. So there's avenues to head for a cheaper route and a better negotiating hand, and you have that hand in a buyer's market, so use it. Get a realtor. They will help you. I would love to help you guys to be able to leverage those deals in a better way, because if you have the hand, you should use it, and this is the market to use it in. So if you guys are looking for a home, especially if you're first-time home buyers, I'd love to serve you guys. My passion is to join you in the journey and help you guys find the ideal home for you. And so I'd love to be a part of that. If you guys need some guidance and could use a realtor to help strengthen your negotiating position, just message me here or Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. You can do a comment, anything like that. I'd love to get in touch with you guys and to help you guys start that journey to find your perfect home.